Hello everybody, sorry I had a bit of trouble then. A couple of error messages came up here, so I had to tweak a few things. I will come into view in a moment. I can see there's one person watching at the moment. Two people. And one of my cameras won't work. I suppose it's been neglected all week because I've been doing other things this week, and I haven't been playing the organ hardly at all, so anything could happen. Anyway, I'm going to start out with Let All Mortal Flesh Keep Silence, which is set to the wonderful French carol tune called Picardy. Close the door. The cat is going bonkers. I've been out all day today. I just come in not long ago from a church where I acted as steward for a new event string group. What are we looking like here? There. 50 young string players. It's really quite special. So this was the first year of doing something like that. So another year. I hope for an even bigger audience. By the time Mum and Dad and Granny and Grandpa turned up, there was a good number there. So just as well, weren't any more though with the COVID regulations, etc. Anyway, enough chat. Let's get on with some playing. Let All Mortal Flesh Keep Silence. tune. It's great for improvising on, there's no question about that. That was a suggestion which came from Alison in Scotland, and as you can see, the words, verse 2, King of Kings yet born of Mary, and it's a French carol tune. 186, where are we now? 186. Tell out my song, the greatness of the Lord. A version of the Magnificat, and I'm sure you'll all know this. In Singing the Faith, it's got a nice little organ introduction, and I know I did it at TMC, Truro Methodist, and nearly caught people out. So you've got 4 bars, and then it's tell out my soul. I'll make sure that you know when to start singing, because when you hear the tune loudly, you'll know it's time to start. So here we go with Tell Out My Soul. Good, well I hope that all came across all right. It wasn't quite what I was intending to do. Having only 3 manuals, the tuba, which would be the 4th keyboard, which I haven't got room for. So the stops of that division I add together to the lowest keyboard, and I've got to remember to turn the stops off on the solo division when I go to play on that keyboard, if I just want to use that keyboard without the other keyboard, if that makes some kind of sense or not. Never mind. Hark the Glad Sound, and to the Merritt tune. Thomas Merritt, as you know, I told you before, we did some Merritts last year. Grew up in Iluggan, and buried down there, and I like to get together and sing, and these carols that he's written have got a sort of parts for each voice that come in one after the other, and it's always very effective. Our minister Mark's just about got to grips with them now, I think. So he likes his Merritt. I think I'm not sure if we've sung it when he's been there, but never mind. Anyway, enough chat. Hark the glad sound. So for those of our organist sort of persuasion and want to know what's going on, I'm going to use the great reeds as the introduction, move to the lowest keyboard. just imagine people getting together and the miners having a jolly good old sing with that one. You may have noticed the cat who decided to go from here to there. Well, I brought him this way because I thought he might go walk on the keyboard of the organ of the computer, which would be a disaster because he'll probably go and stop something. I've had enough problems already. So in the same kind of vein as the Merritt carol is one by Nicholas, and although I called it Lo He Come, what do I call it? Lo the Eastern Sage Arise, it's actually called The Star of Bethlehem, and there are 4 Christmas carols which have been around for ages. And what's heavenly music? Oh, that says arranged by S.Nicholas. And then Hark the Christmas Bells by S.Nicholas. And then the one we're going to do, The Star of Bethlehem, arranged by S.Nicholas. And there's the other one, The Star of Jacob. And these were obtainable locally or from Sidney James. Now, Sidney James, might remember Sidney James used to run a paper shop, tobacconist in Redruth, just down from the Wesley Chapel, and his wife Iris used to be the deputy at Redruth Wesley, and so you could get them copies from him. So whether it's still in copyright or not, I don't know. Anyway, if you don't know this, it's something to pick up and learn. Balaam's mystic words appear, full of light divinely clear, and the import wrapped in them is the Star of Bethlehem. So wonderful words here, and we'll see what we can come up with. Bits for the basses, bits for the sopranos and the altos. Tenors, you don't get much to do. Anyway, here we go. I will play all the way through, so you know exactly how this is to go. So there we are, it's another traditional carol from Cornwall. Red Ruth, I suppose. So there we are. So it's probably new to several of you, I expect. So back to Singing the Faith and 191. I've forgotten what I've... What do I mean? Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do. I'm going to do a second tune, and I always think of it being the American tune to Away in a Manger. I thought, well, let's do something, see if we can find something a bit different. What's happened there? So, Away in a Manger, so the American tune, if you like. So if you're not familiar with that tune, it's something quite different. I remember we did an arrangement of that with Celtic Chorale with Hubert, and I got to play, oops, that's not the right one, I got to play the glockenspiel part, would you believe? And I sort of went, and I did that. Well, I only went actually something like that. Anyway, that was a long time ago. Right, what's happening next? So back to hymns and psalms now. For our last couple of hymns, 90 and 92. 90. So last week I was telling you about some people who got caught up in the accident at TMC, I'm pleased to report that are all making progress, I think. Well, yes, I do know they're making progress, which is great. So that's good. Remember last week I played a hymn for Shirley Simmons. That's hymn every now and then. It comes back as a bit of an earworm. And I told you Peter was better. And my Uncle David went in and had his operation, and he's home and doing well. Another Peter's brother-in-law, Mike Diamond, is having some explorations and tests and things done, so please remember him in your prayers. That's Peter's brother-in-law. Peter's sister is Ruth, and she's married to Mike, and a lovely singing voice, and does lots of wonderful ministry with her singing. So if you think of Mike, there we go. So a great and mighty wonder, which we don't sing very often, but I've always liked it. Ist Ein Roz and Sprungen. So German tune, harmonised by Michael Pretorius, and the words have been translated by John Mason Neal. do like that tune. Oh, on to our last hymn for this evening. Next week is our chapel, we hope, our annual carol service. So I am hopeful that it's going to go ahead with our instrumentalists and things, and it will be streamed. So I'm afraid that will take the place of hymnody next week. If things go wildly awry, then and we can't do our carol service, I'll be back here doing some hymns, but we're hoping that that's not going to happen. But you just never know. So see what transpires. I think the government are having a meeting, or some committee, or somebody's having a meeting on Tuesday, and then we'll see what measures they want to introduce, and so on. So, angels from the realms of glory, wing your flight o'er all the earth. Once again, one of those tunes with moving parts. It's always great fun when you've got lots of things to do. Perhaps it might be a little bit repetitive, but there we go. Hello, Mr. Sebastian is going to come up here, I can tell. You're coming up, are you? What are you going to do, mate? Are you coming now, or am I going to all of a sudden discover... What are you doing? Come on then. Come on. Come on, everybody likes to see you. Well, I'll make a start and see what happens. enjoy that, pussycat? Did you? Did you like that? Hey? Hey? Very patient, aren't you? Go on, purr so that everybody can hear you. So you're very happy, aren't you? You've got me wrapped around your little finger, because you'll know you'll get something to eat now. Well, there we go, folks. I'm going to go and feed the cat, have some tea, and catch up with you later in the week. Later in the week? At some stage in the week, I'll try and do something. Usually we have a voluntary, but I think, well, it's 10 to 8 now, so we'll leave it for now. Oh. Hey. So do take care, stay safe, and keep doing all those things. Where are you going now? No, don't go. No. Right. Okay. Good night. God bless. Stay safe.